Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy CB, aka the Rude Educator, and this is WETF. Now, we in here doing the spoiler review of the Wonder Years, episode 2. And, last week, the Wonder Years premiered, and it was something special. So, I figured I'd just go ahead and keep doing these spoiler reviews on it and see what happens. Because like it's one of those special shows that only comes around once in a generation, right? So we might as well see what happens. Now in this episode, Dean is still a little bit heartbroken about a couple of things. He's heartbroken, first and foremost about the death of Dr. Martin Luther King, but then also, of course, he's heartbroken about the girl that he's had his eye on for a few years. He caught her kissing his best friend, and that's never a good feeling. And so they're in the church, and they're supposed to be doing the memorial for Dr. King, and all he can do is keep his eye on Corey and Keisha and what they doing. And he even, he's supposed to be reminiscing about Dr. King, and he can't think about nothing but Keisha in that dress and those stockings she got on. It's kind of wild, but that's how it is, right? You know what I'm saying? When that special girl that's in your life, when you're thinking about it, that's all you can really think about sometimes. And the thing about that is that it's young. It's like that first love thing, so it's a lot going on there, and he's just trying to figure it all out. And then so he's in the church, and he's going through it, and he lets out this yell, and his parents notice it. They just say, okay, well, he's just emotional about the whole thing, and they think that it's about Dr. King, but of course we all know it's about the girl. And so they just continue. He goes in and it goes to school, and he's still not really feeling it. His teacher kind of notices that he's not feeling it because he got a C on one of his papers, and he's a little bit disappointed by that. And the teacher notices that he's not really being himself. So she's like, I think that maybe you ought to take it easy. And I'm gonna go ahead and give you an A on that paper because I know you're going through it a lot. And I think that's the first time Dean realizes, like, man, people feeling sorry for me because with this Dr. King thing, I'm gonna use it to my advantage. So they show him in gym class. He gets sent to the school counselor during gym class, and they just show him going home and kind of feeling good about himself because he kind of slid through the day because of all of it. But his parents still think he's broken up over Dr. King. Dean is acting, a little bit funny towards Corey and Keisha because he saw him kiss. And Corey didn't really know that he saw him kiss. So he just found out for the first time that, yeah, this is why this dude is acting funny like this. And they kind of have a little bit of a commotion. And so the teacher brings them all three of them up to the front of the class and is like, what's going on? And then, of course, Dean brings out what he's been using lately is, grief about Dr. King. And the teacher says, okay, well, why don't you three write a report about how you feel about Dr. King and present it to the class? And so that didn't exactly work out the way he thought it would because now he's ended up with more work. But he looks at the situation. He's like, you know what? I think I want to do mine by myself. And he immediately regrets it. They show him flashing to Corey and Keisha being married years later because he didn't want to do the project with him. So anyway, and he goes through a couple of things, and then his dad's like, you know what? Since you're so down about things, why don't you go fishing with me? And the funny thing is that his dad asked him to go fishing, and that's usually he says that's something his dad usually does on his own. So it's kind of odd that he's asking him to go fishing with him. But he accepts, and it's a pretty good fishing trip. They talk about some things, and next day they go and they do the report, and Dean, after talking to his dad, he's talking about all these things that him and his dad talked about with the fish and all of that and how it relates to black people. And he's got, a couple of poster boards up. And then Keith said Corey get up and do their report. They just straight off the index cards. They kind of stumbled through it. It's a weak report in comparison. But the teacher give them all A's. And Dean is like, wait a minute, I deserve an A, not y'all. And so, they go on back and forth. And then Keith is really, wondering why he's acting like this. And then that's when Dean lays on, exactly what's been going on. And so, Keisha doesn't really know that Dean's feeling that way, so he's kind of careful about what he says, but he's still saying that he's upset. He even tells Corey that, hey, I don't want to talk to you ever again. And Corey's like, well, we got all these classes together, plus baseball practice. How you going to do that? So it doesn't really work out for him. And so Dean goes home again, and again he's upset. And again, his family thinks he's upset because of Dr. King. And his sister, who's trying to get out of the house anyway, says, why don't you let me handle it this time? And she's like, let's go get some ice cream. Only they're not going to get ice cream. They're going to the Black Panther Party the Black Panther Party meeting to meet her boyfriend, Kwame. And so she tells him what's actually going down. And they get to the meeting. Dean's not really sure about being there. But he's like, it's cool. I got some money in my sock, just in case or whatever. And, things seem to be going okay. But then Kim's boyfriend pulls a gun out. And she's like, what you going to do with that? And he's talking about, they might need protection. But she's not really with it. And then Dean at that point, he's ready to go home because, he said, like, I was raised in the South. I've seen a lot of guns, but those were guns out in the woods. This is a city gun. And he's not really feeling it either. And truth be told, Kim's not feeling the situation at this point. And she's really looking for a way out. So Dean gives her a way out, says he needs to go home and get to his medicine. And so they bounce. Kwame, he's not really feeling Kim at this point. So she bounced on. And that's that. And they walking home talking about the whole situation, talking about different types of relationships, and Kim is saying some relationships are worth fighting for, some are not. And the thing about that is that they gave them a chance to relate to each other as brother and sister. And also, Dean found out that Kim doesn't really know who his friends are. She called him some other name, and he was like, wait, you don't even know who my friends are for real. But she still cares about her brother, and she just wants them to be all right. So, with this newfound knowledge, Dean goes back to school, and he apologizes to Corey. And then Corey drops the bomb on him that, man, Keisha didn't even really like me. She just kissed me because she was feeling bad about Dr. King and all that. So, please forgive me. We should be boys again. And, of course, they are. They end up going fishing together. And, that's the way the episode ends. And I kind of feel like, Corey might just be telling him that to make him feel better because he realizes how bad it made him feel to begin with. Or maybe even talked to Keisha and told him, like, man, I think, Dean upset because he was feeling you first. And now we doing this thing or whatever. So we got to still see what actually develops from Corey, Keisha, and Dean. But at this point, Corey and Dean friends again, and they're getting along. And then, everybody now knows that Dean's situation is more about his feelings with his girl rather than Dr. King. And, everybody's got a little bit more understanding now. Even his parents got a chance to go fishing together, and they got a little bit closer due to that fishing trip. They didn't catch much again, like he normally doesn't catch anything, but they caught one little fish, and she cooked it for dinner in a big ass bed of rice. So that's what they had for dinner that night, was the one little fish and a big bed of rice. But all of that's all good. We still, experiencing life in the, Montgomery, Alabama in the 60s. It's still unraveling. They still kind of rolling out everybody and their personalities and stuff like that. So we still giving it a chance. You know, personally, I like the show. I like anything that's showing, you know, black families together and also showing them in a positive light. So, you know, it's all good for me. I love to know what y'all think. Y'all gotta tell me. Leave a comment. You know, tell me how you feel about Dean and his relationship with Corey, his relationship with the rest of his family. What do you think about the teachers and the way the white teachers treated him and his fellow black students after the King thing happened? And you know, there's one character that was missing, and that's Michael, because Michael was the bully in the first episode, and we didn't see him show up in this episode. So I want to know, you know, if we're gonna see Michael doing some bully shit again. That'd be nice to see. But anyway, y'all let me know how y'all think. Again, this is CB, the Rude Educator. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.